Hello everyone, welcome to a new vlog. This is a slightly longer video. I just thought I'd try out, instead of doing a 10-minute vlog, I do more of a 20-minute just to see how it does, just because I prefer longer form content, to be honest, but I don't know if people do nowadays because everything is such in short form. But I've just basically put together the last few weeks of van life as we are still in the south of Spain, but we started this little video in a lovely little town where we ended up actually getting some really amazing food. It was a really lovely little town to walk around. We've had really good weather recently. It's been a little bit windy and a little bit on the cooler side, but we have had some really hot days and hot enough where you can sunbathe, and we've been doing lots of working out and then going for a swim in the sea, and that's also been really nice. And I feel like we're both, me and Kyle, are really on it at the minute with trying to eat a lot better and just looking after our bodies a bit better, so it feels really good. But this town was amazing. It was just so nice and it was so lovely to walk around. There was lots of little shops, little bits of clothes, chocolate, there was a bakery. I'd really advise going here if you're ever in the area. And we stumbled upon this little, I think it was kind of an art gallery slash antiques place. There was lots of ceramics and big kind of jars, as well as vintage looking pieces. I'm kind of on the hunt at the minute for a different mug, as the mug that I've got I absolutely love, but because it's so wide it makes my coffee go really cold quite quickly. But this was really cool to have a look around. I'm trying to get better at filming in shops and things like that, but I do get a little bit nervous. But we spent most of the day just wandering around with the dog and just looking in little shops and eating nice food, and this was honestly probably one of my favourite days that we've had so far. This little town was just so beautiful, and they also had a really stunning church which had amazing architecture as well as amazing religious statues and sculptures, which I just thought were stunning. Really enjoy looking at religious buildings, to be honest. I just think they're so pretty. Then after that we ended up trying to hunt for a place to eat. We looked at a few different spots and then we stumbled upon this lovely little restaurant that was just tucked in the corner and was owned by a really lovely woman who was from the UK. I'm not too sure whereabouts in the UK she was from, but I had the best falafels I think I've ever eaten. So if you're ever in this little town, please go and visit, as they do amazing kind of Greek Mediterranean food. It was so good. We've been going a lot slower recently, I've noticed. We've been kind of spending more days in the same place, which has been really nice, and kind of just taking it really slowly, and it means we've been able to kind of do a little bit more around the van and, like I say, do kind of some working out and kind of build up a little bit of a routine, which has been really nice to do. I've noticed sometimes we can get into a bit of a cycle of just driving every day, which can become quite tiring, but we have really slowed down recently. So we're just parked up. Sorry, it's a bit dark. It's getting later in the day. It's currently about 6 o'clock, I think. We've just kind of had a bit of a boring day, to be honest. It's 6:10 and it's this 22nd of November. We've been cleaning the van. I've been cleaning the van. Kyle's kind of helped do the bed and things like that. Did some washing up, just kind of doing a bit of a maintenance day today. We were going to try to do some washing, but the laundrette that we went to was kind of full, and we just were like, oh, we're fine for like another few days, so we'll just try find another one. We're still kind of in the south of Spain-ish, but we're kind of making our way up towards the east of Spain, but there's not really been too much around this part. It feels a bit barren. We've not kind of like seen too many places that we've wanted to kind of stop by on. We had a really nice day the other day in a little town, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but we ate some amazing food. It was so good. And that was like our first like proper meal out, which I was so pleased about, because we don't really go out too much to eat, just to save on money and things like that. So I'm glad that we did that, and it was amazing. Best falafel wrap I've ever had. It was so good. But yeah, just not too much on at the minute. We're kind of we need to sit and have a plan about like where we want to go next and how far we want to go up the east of Spain, because then we're going to come back down on ourselves and then make our way back around, because we still really want to go to Portugal, and then I'd really like to go to Gibraltar as well, and like maybe meet up with some family who I don't think I've met before. My dad gave me a couple numbers of people. He was like, please go meet them, they're lovely. So that would just be quite nice to do, I think, and just meet kind of more family, more of my dad's side of the family. So that would be really lovely. But yeah, just not too sure on the time frame of that. And yeah, Not too sure really, but there's a Potter I'd really like to go see that's, I don't think, too far from here, so I'll try to do some a bit more filming of that. And yeah, this evening I'm gonna make some pasta. I already pre-made a batch of pasta sauce, so it's gonna be a really easy meal. And then I think I'm gonna sit and do maybe like an hour's kind of work. I've been trying to work on getting my book out there as much as I can and trying to do different things around that, just because I feel like that's the easiest thing that I can build on at the moment while we're on the road, as well as just kind of doing little arty bits and making sure I do like my monthly newsletter and just bits of things like that. So because me and Kyle were talking about trying to get jobs on the road, kind of anything that's online, and then we were kind of talking about it, and then Kyle's kind of like, wait, are we like, do we think it's wise to spend time trying to get a new job, or should we just try use this time to work on what we've already built? So my book, kind of the social media that I've done, and yeah, don't really know what that means, but that's kind of, I've been trying to do something a little bit productive in that sense, as well as just obviously just taking this time to step back from everything. But yeah, I think I might do a bit of that this evening, as well as edit this video, which has been really nice. So I've been enjoying, I love YouTube, I've been enjoying doing YouTube and just editing and filming, and I feel like I'm getting better at filming and editing, and that's really nice, and I find it like an easier process than I used to. I'd like that to be maybe a part of my career in some point, because I really enjoy filmmaking and doing filming, so we'll see what that looks like. I think my YouTube channel is growing very slowly, but it is growing, which is nice to see. So I think it's just going to be something that builds up over time really, but come with me now and I'll make me and Kyle dinner. So we're currently at Park Up. I haven't really done much filming just because there's quite a few people who are living here permanently, I think, so I just didn't want to film, obviously. Ended up meeting a really nice guy next door who's from Germany, and then there's a woman who is staying in a quite cool van behind us. It looks like she's kind of decked it out as if it's like a piratey van, and I don't know if you can hear, there's a lot of dogs dotting around here. Mango's had a great time with all the dogs, and she's French and she's been playing French music, which has been quite nice, to be honest. So we've met like quite a few people who seem to be just living here permanently, but we're going off today. And yeah, I just haven't really filmed too much just because, again, it's like we've been kind of like chatting to people, again, very kind of a bit of broken English and us broken Spanish and French, but there's like lots of dogs dotting around who have owners and things like that, so Mango's had a great time playing, which is nice. I've got you on camera. See any tracks down? Hello, we are parked at a very nice little campsite. We decided we were going to just park up because we're quite low on electric. I think we could still probably go maybe another day or so, but we just decided to hook up. This one's an okay priced one. It's €16 for the night and you get water and electric included in that, and then there's additional payments for if you want to do washing, drying. It's €1 for 5 minutes in a shower. And they also have a little restaurant in the evening, so I think me and Kyle are going to treat ourselves and have some food here. They do just kind of basic stuff, unless we can find a nicer restaurant in the town. But yeah, we're just gonna, it's quite windy out today, so we're just debating whether or not to go for a walk into the town. I think it would be quite nice if we went for like a really long walk, came back, chilled out, then went for dinner, but that's kind of what we've been doing. But I've been doing a lot more drawings, a lot more paintings recently. I think I'm actually going to record a painting session and make it as part of this video. I started doing a really big painting and then I decided I really didn't like how it was turning out, so I just stopped, so I don't think I'm going to add that in. Maybe I'll add in like a little bit of a clip, but I think I've done about 15 like mini paintings so far, which is pretty good. But I'll just show you, there's some that I've kind of started and then I've not really been sure about, so they're just, I'm gonna finish them, but I might not add them to like the final collection. But I just thought I'd show you what some of the newer paintings that I've been doing, and then what I'll do is I'll do a little video of me actually doing a new one. I've also been realising how much I've been relying on Pinterest as a way to get inspired. So I've been trying a lot more to, instead of looking on Pinterest, getting inspiration and then drawing something, just trying to draw something from like my own imagination, just because I don't mind taking inspiration from other artists, but I want to try and get inspiration from myself and from like within. So those ones are done. So I did this one. It's kind of a woman holding a bunch of flowers. I couldn't draw her face the way that I wanted to, so I ended up just filling it with flowers. It's not finished, that one yet. I ended up doing this really kind of folk arty little bird, which I really like. Then I'm going to use some white paint. It's just a black bird outline for the moment, but I'm going to use some white paint to decorate that one. And then these are the ones that I'm kind of working on. This one is inspired by an artist's piece. I'll pop it up on the screen. This was the last one I kind of did, and then I kind of had a bit of a thought of just like, oh well, I need to stop looking on Pinterest. I need to just kind of draw and try to draw very intuitively if possible. So I quite like this one that I did. This one again was just from my own brain, trying to pull from my own brain. And then I also did this one. It's a woman holding her hair, and then I was going to kind of put some sort of I don't know what to put within her hair that she's kind of holding on to, but yeah, I just wanted to show some little arty bits that I've been doing. I've got like I'm getting a really nice like stack now of paintings, which is lovely. So I think we're on maybe about 15. I'm going to try just do as many as I can while we're away, because I seem to be in quite a nice little creative flow at the minute. And then yeah, I don't really know what I want to do with them, but I don't have to do anything with them. I kind of wouldn't mind adding some gold foil to them, as well as like an added little something to make them look a bit special, just because the black, white and gold go really really well together, and it's what I do a lot of in my own painting, in my own like ceramic pieces anyway. I use a lot of gold luster within my ceramic pieces, so I think that'll just work out very nicely. But yeah, we're just chilling at the minute. Just had a cup of coffee. And yeah, I might see if Kyle wants to go for a walk, and yeah, there's not too much happening at the moment, to be honest. We're just going to try figure out how far east we want to go up and then come back on ourselves, because we still want to go to Portugal, still want to go to Gibraltar, still want to do some like other bits that we kind of missed out because of bad weather. So yeah, we'll just see what happens really. So we ended up staying in this spot for about 2 or 3 nights, I think. It was just so lovely, and the weather had been so good, and we were right on the beach. As you can see here, there was quite a lot of other campervanners around us, which was quite nice, to be honest. But it was a really good little spot to kind of do little workouts on and then go for a run into the sea, as well as doing some sunbathing. We ended up meeting another campervanner who was really nice. He was a guy from Germany, and he was an author and he was a geologist, so really cool, and he was very kind of arty looking. And we ended up chatting with him, and we ended up all going for a walk together and just kind of talking about life and our experiences and stuff, and just asking each other questions. And it's always really nice when you kind of get to meet people along the road, just because it is just me and Kyle in the van. So when we get to kind of meet little communities of people, we always think it's really nice. And I think we were hoping that we would meet more people on the road that were like us maybe, and who were doing it full time. But most people that we've kind of seen so far are more kind of holiday folk, kind of escaping the colder weather, I think. But we've still got another kind of month and a bit until we kind of have to choose whether or not we want to come back to the UK. So I'm still kind of hopeful that we might meet a few more people. I think I was just hoping that we might meet a little community and kind of get connected with others and make some friends and things, but I think there's still time for that. And of course, when we come back out from being in the UK, I'm sure there'll be more space to meet new people. But everyone we've met so far has been so lovely and so helpful and very welcoming. I've also been getting into making more bread, which has been great. I seem to have got a good focaccia down in the van, which is good. It's the easiest type of bread that I feel like I can make in the van, and because we've got limited items in terms of pans and things like that, I've only got really kind of narrow pans for bread making, so it's the perfect size to make a good bubbly focaccia. And Kyle says he prefers the bread that I make over bought bread, so it's definitely something that I'm gonna try and make more often. And it's super cheap and super easy to make, so it just tastes really good as well. So that's been nice to do. I've been trying to get into more baking, just again to try not buy like super processed foods and stuff. I don't think bread's too bad, but obviously they do put a lot of stuff in bread that doesn't need to be in bread. And I think I say in this video that I always feel a little bit bloated after having kind of store-bought bread, but when I have my own homemade bread I feel like a lot better. My stomach doesn't feel as kind of tight, but that's been really nice to do. And you can see there Mango always is accompanying me. She seems to love the smell of the bread when it comes out the oven. When this bread came out of the oven, she sat next to the oven for ages, just looking, sniffing and wagging her tail. She also really loves the bread that I make, which is very, very cute. And Mango's been having such a good time at the moment as well. She seems to be interacting with so many of the dogs, and it's been so lovely that she's been able to get to play and just have a good time. And because I kind of got a bit nervous about whether or not we'd still be able to socialise her on the road, just because it can be quite isolating, but there seems to be lots of people around and lots of people with dogs, and especially other camper vanners, they just kind of let their dogs off the lead. So it's really, really nice just to do that with Mango, just because her recall's okay, but she's still kind of quite a puppy. She's 1.5 just about, I think, or just over 1.5, so she still has those very puppy instincts and puppy actions, to be honest. So sometimes she kind of just gets away with herself and then she doesn't seem to listen to us, but she's getting a lot better. And like I said, it's just so nice to see her interact and play with other dogs. And we've been pretty good so far. We've been feeling really good. I think we're both a little bit uncertain about what we want to do when we come back, or what we want to do when the 90 days are up, to be honest, just because we don't really know what our options are when it comes to finances and just in obviously where we can go, just because obviously coming out of the 90 days there's only certain places that we can go, and that would be kind of Morocco, or there's a little place called Andorra, or then going over to kind of Croatia and things like that. And I don't really know if we have the funds to do that just yet, so we have been thinking about whether or not to just come back after the 90 days, which we're still not 100% sure what we want to do, but we need to have a few more conversations about it. But I think we feel both a little bit apprehensive about it, and I think we're both just unsure about what we want to do when we come back, because we need to work and we need to get a little bit of an income in, because we want to, you know, save up and then come back out. And I'd like to do a bit of a longer stint and spend maybe 6 months just travelling, which would be really lovely. But yeah, I don't know what work will look like for the both of us, and I think about the tattooing still quite a lot, and I don't really know how I feel about it. I've been feeling more positive about it and hoping that I'll be able to return to it, but I still feel a little bit anxious. And yeah, just sometimes I get a bit nervous about what returning to the UK will look like, and I don't like the idea that we're kind of coming back to reality, but I guess it's just kind of coming back to try and sort out how we can then go back out again and continue this lifestyle and travel. And I think as well, I've been looking into if we can kind of stay in one spot more permanently, so kind of looking into staying at like a campsite for a couple of months and how much that'll cost, just so that we've got a bit more of kind of a steady base that we can be at instead of keep moving around, just because it would be handy to have if we end up getting work and things like that. Trying to kind of move about and find spots to stay for free, I feel like will be a little bit stressful when we're both working, but we don't really know what that will look like. And I think we do have the space and time to come back to the UK and just settle back into being into the UK and then kind of start deciding what we want to do for work. Like, I think we do have that space and time to do that, which I think we both probably need, and I think it'll just give us a bit of chance to decide what we want to do. But yeah, we're both really loving van life. We've been living in the van now for about 3 months, I say, and we absolutely adore it. I especially absolutely adore it. I don't think can't remember the last time I felt this happy, and I just love being in Spain as well. It's been so lovely, and I think just because it's so easy being in a van, living in a van in Europe, everything's so easy. So yeah, it's been great. But thank you so much for listening and for being here. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.